while Instagram decides to catch up and let us go live. So we're live on YouTube and we're almost live
Hey,
on Instagram.
oh, and you said this will show the YouTube comments. Beautiful.
And we're live. All right. Hey guys.
Focus.
Sorry we're late. I blame TJ. Just right under the bus. Yeeting him.
Yes. Blame TJ. Right under the bus on this one.
We
It's those
have
darn kids.
an awesome episode of Sawdust Talk for you tonight. But before we get started, we want to thank our sponsors, Surf Prep, right up there. They're great. If you like sanding, you're a weird person. But if you don't like sanding, that makes it better. And then our other sponsor, George Supply Co. They have a great line of maker products and CA glues. So if you got to make something stick, check out George Supply Co. All right. I am Braden with Little Bug Woodworking. I'm in Omaha. I do a lot of woodworking of all varieties, but a lot of what I do is on my CNC, which our guest tonight probably doesn't know anything about. So, TJ, who the heck are you?
Hi, I'm TJ with TJT Workshop. I'm over here in St. Louis, Missouri. Most of the time when I'm doing woodworking, it's on a lathe, but it's really cold in my workshop this evening. And so we are enjoying being on the other side of the door tonight. So you guys get to see my fancy bookshelf here and a copy of Hero Quest over my shoulder. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun talking with Stone and getting to know more about the intricacies of CNC.
All right, Stone, the man with a name that sounds like you should be in pro wrestling, but somehow is in making. Who the heck are you, bud?
Well, my name is Stone. Believe it or not, that's my legal first name. Parents gave it to me. But yeah, my Instagram's Stonefinity. I work for Onefinity. That is my full-time job. So I get to play with these bad boys all day and help people out with them and go to shows and meet people and do all the fun stuff. I do a lot of things for the company, so wear a lot of hats. Yeah, it's a good looking banner. I've been rearranging, so I actually don't have one up right now. But
I moved my entire CNC from this corner just right behind me just for the live. It was a ton of work. I'm going to move it right back. No, actually, I'm just kidding. Ironically, I moved it closer to my dust collector, but further away from actual functional dust collection because I can't connect it right now. But it works. It's a background just for you, bud.
hey, I appreciate the effort. It really goes a long way. I mean, what's better than two CNCs in one life?
Three CNCs in one live.
TJ, I think your robotic accuracy at the lathe would constitute a CNC like device. You are the machine.
I am the computer. I am nunchuckedly controlled. Yes, computer nunchuck control lathe work over here. So
you're like RoboCop in his downtime.
Oh my god. One day, kids.
So Stone, tell us. Why don't you give us obviously we know about Onefinity, but why don't you give us the rundown? Onefinity, what your products are, how you got involved.
Yeah, so I guess I'll kind of start at the beginning. I was a junior in college and was asked to make the assembly video because they needed somebody who was just nobody and was a face and could be in a video and follow instructions. I had never used a CNC before when I first opened the box to make that video. And I just kind of was forced to pick it up because I was making the video. I was just following instructions at the beginning. But it was kind of like a learn it as you go thing. And then after school, I was offered a job to kind of fill some gaps. I just started off, I helped the support team out. So I do that. Obviously, I make all of our support videos still. That's how I started. I go to shows and stuff and get to meet all the makers and do Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. So I just really, my main thing is just interacting with the community, doing that, taking care of that for the company, and support. Um, but the company itself is a machine manufacturing company. We don't do software or anything like that. We build CNC machines, and the main focus is this modular system. Started out, we had two machine sizes. We had the 16 by 16 machinist, which you don't see a lot of, and then the woodworker, which is kind of like our flagship product. And that turned into those are the 35 millimeter tubes that that's what we started out with, the basic model, and then that kind of turned into the X50, which is the bigger X rail, and then the Journeyman came along, and then so we've got the 32 by 48, and then that's what you've got now. And then last year we came out with the Elite Series and introduced the Foreman, which is our 4x4, and we just did the upgrade kit, so now you can take your old machine. That's what Braden did. He was one of our beta testers for that, one of my guinea pigs. But yeah, so we have those two machine types right now. With the build box controller or the Masso controller, we have 16 by 16 all the way up to 48 by 48. But the machine is all ball screw driven, so that's kind of our thing. It is all very rigid, very sturdy, and it's reliable mechanically. You don't have to change plastic wheels and rubber belts, stuff like that. Just kind of, it goes, it does its thing, and it's always going to. So it's just a reliable, dependable, heavy-duty machine for a really, really good price. And we're really involved in the community. We like to work with people. We like to, make sure our people are taken care of. And I think that's the coolest thing about my job, is just like getting to interact with the community and see how much everyone really does love the company. It just makes me love my job even more. So that's a little bit of a background about us.
I can attest to the rigidity of these machines because I like to figure out just how bad I can abuse mine. Stone, cover your ears. You don't need to listen to this. But I like to see just how doofusy I can be with my cuts. So I'd be lying if I didn't say I had a couple of like really deep holes in my spoil board because I assume that the computer's going to fix my mistakes. That's the most upsetting part about any CNC work is anything that goes wrong it's 100% your fault. It's doing exactly what you told it to do. But go ahead.
It's the most frustrating. I was just gonna say it's the most frustrating thing. Like I don't have any holes in my spoil board right now because it's brand new, but like it happens to everyone at some point. You're gonna do stuff and it's gonna be your fault. It just sucks. But yeah,
snapping that first bit just hurts. It hurts your soul.
I've been saving. I don't have a ton of them, but I've been saving my broken bits. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, but I'm going to make something out of all of them at some point.
You could sacrifice them up like as an offering to the CNC overlords.
I don't know. I'm trying to not just go to the obvious like epoxy, but that's all I've come up with so far. Something with epoxy. It just makes sense.
When in doubt, you dump it in epoxy.
Yep. It just works.
That makes
sense. Man, you have got so many. Did you get your iPad going? You have got so many mustache comments coming through.
Yeah. I mean, I've been working on it for a while now.
So when you're a junior in college and they are, Onefinity's like, you have a face, we need a face to do videos. Did you have the mustache? Or were they just like investing at that time that you may one day have that?
No, I was clean shaven. I had never had facial hair before COVID. So that was, I started doing videos like the beginning of my junior year, and then second semester of my junior year of college is when COVID hit. And then I was just at home all the time, and I was like, I'm not going to shave. And I grew a mustache and a beard. My mom hated it.
So, have you ever thought about putting together sort of a series of projects similar to like the Benchy in the 3D printing world to look into your calibration and things that are going to make your Onefinity operate at the optimal level?
Um, there's a couple tests like you can run. Like there's a called like a circle diamond square test. It's a circle with the square with inside of it with a diamond inside of that, and it just measures like your X and your Y. That's for X and Y, so you can see if something's off there. Um, for Z, it's more just like measuring height with the caliper, making sure that what you programmed is actually what it's cutting. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the extent of that. I don't have like there's not like a benchy because it's not as much like you're messing with temperature and adhesion. It's the different material. It could be a different material every time you cut something, and you got different bits, you got different spindle speeds, you got different feed rates. So there's a lot of different things that go into it. So it's not just like one size fits all for everything, I guess. So there are some tests out there that you can kind of gauge your work on, but it's also kind of dependent on material, your bit, all those things. So it kind of varies.
Plus, there's always the QC test that you get
Yeah.
in every box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So every machine gets uh, it gets built, it gets assembled. We test the entire thing with your controller, with your rails, all that stuff. We drop a router with the same bit in it, and we run our test, make sure everything looks right, and if it's good, we ship it. So that happens with every machine. I know a lot of people kind of like, no, they don't really put, but we really do put every single machine together. So that's why we have taken so long to catch up because we want to make sure we do it right the first time.
So for somebody that doesn't have a CNC that's kind of looking to get into that type of making, you have a lot of options in machines. You've got the different controllers. You have all that. What do you recommend? Like somebody that's just starting, like, hey, I want to run a CNC. Where do you think that they should start?
I mean, if we're talking Onefinity, X35 series is more than enough, especially for a beginner. Um, there's nothing I couldn't do on my 4x4 Elite Foreman that I couldn't do on that machine other than size wise. I could do everything on that machine I could do with this one. Maybe not as efficiently or as fast or uh, as flashy, but it'll do the same things. And it's a lot simpler layout. It's a lot simpler interface. Uh, and it's a lot cheaper to start with. And the nice thing about our system is once you've learned on that, you can upgrade to whatever else you want to do, as you know. So I would say X35 Woodworker is the place to start. Maybe a journeyman if you want to do bigger stuff, and you can always tile on that too. So
I have yet to tile anything because I feel like that has a level of precision that my brain is not. It's probably capable of, but it's not interested in finding out.
I actually haven't ever done it myself. I know like the steps behind it because I've helped people through it. Um, but it's a lot more simple than you'd think. It's just making sure that you line everything up right and you index everything right. If you don't mark it and make sure you have a good reference, then everything gets off. But that's the biggest thing. It's just making sure you get your reference right.
So tiling is essentially you're cutting here, and then you have some sort of reference, and you're essentially just shifting the workpiece down, and it's shifting the entire carve onto like the next step. It's
exactly
tiling.
Yeah, tiling.
So, all right. So you have all the machines, you have the different sizes, you have all that, and then y'all just keep going forward, and you've got lasers.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get in? How did lasers get involved?
I mean, it's kind of just the obvious next step. There's a lot of laser companies that make standalone lasers that are usually like no bigger than 24 by 24 inches. But JTech was actually already in existence when we started up as a company. Um, and he had a really good reputation, and we knew he was somebody we wanted to work with because it just makes sense. You strap a laser on your CNC, and rather than spend, $1,000 on a standalone laser, spend like the 7 watt when that came out. I don't remember exactly how much it was, like 600-700 bucks. You spend $600, and then you've got a laser on a 32 by 32 bed for half the price, and you get a bigger bed. So it just kind of makes sense. Um, and lasers you can do different things with. You can engrave with a laser lightly and change the contrast on a piece. So that kind of just adds another dimension to what you can do with the machine. So that was kind of the obvious next step.
So next steps, we're in the middle of you guys dropping a new product every single day starting this last Monday for the rest of the week.
Mm-hmm.
One of those was a laser.
Yeah.
You want to walk us through the week?
Sure. So I mean, Monday was this guy. I've got it right here. The JTech 44-watt laser. And for reference, here's that 7 watt that we started with that we were talking about a second ago. So
Good God.
they've come a long way. Yeah, it's about 4 times as big.
How much wall power is required to drive that 40-watt laser? Is it just
110 volts? Just actually it runs off of. I'll show you real quick. I've got it right here. It's just a computer power brick.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's a 2.5 amp computer brick. So that's all it is.
So can you freehand with that?
With the laser?
Yeah, just, engrave
so
on the
it's
wall,
got
stuff like that.
One thing, so they added this in the 24 watt, but it's got, if you can kind of hear it, I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but it's got a little ball bearing in there that sits on a sensor, and it's actually a tilt sensor. So if it tilts at all, it'll fall out of that little cradle, and the laser will automatically cut off. So if you're not holding it straight up and down, it won't fire.
And if you tilt it and that sensor goes off, does it also stop your game of pinball?
I guess so. Or no, that would really start the game of pinball, I would think.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
All I'm hearing here is that a little dab of CA glue from George Supply Co. and you could have a free-handed rocket laser just like in Austin Powers.
If you do that and you burn your house down, I'm not responsible.
Okay, so definitely don't do that, and don't use your 40-watt laser to carve your initials in the ceiling of your shop.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. For your own safety and my sanity, don't do that.
Okay, don't do that, kids. This is Sawdust Talk After Dark. We have some fun thoughts, but make sure that you take good advice from people who know what they're doing, like Stone.
No, I mean, it would be really cool if you could do it, but I wouldn't advise it. It's one of those things I would do in the shop and then not post a video about it.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Now we've got disclaimers.
There you go.
It's not officially supported.
As Luke Gelman would say, garage science.
There you go.
I feel like maybe I need to modify it. It shouldn't say not officially supported. It should say not officially or unofficially supported.
Yeah, it's just not supported.
Just don't do it. All right. So Monday.
How deep can the 40-watt laser cut in something like a piece of birch plywood?
Well, this is 1/2-inch birch plywood, and it cut that in one pass.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, so that was 10 inches a minute. So, and it went, it was straight through. I just poked it and it tapped right out of there. So I haven't cut anything else. I literally got it yesterday, and I went live on the Onefinity account with Morgan last night talking about yesterday and the day before. And I hadn't used it until like 10 minutes before I went on that live. So I haven't really had time to mess with it. JTech did all their testing and made sure the product was ready and got all that done. And then he overnighted me one, so I would have something to show off yesterday. So more to come on that one, but it is very capable. He cut, I want to say it's 3/4 inch pine in one pass, and
wow,
at 10 inches a minute. So it'll cut through some thick material.
All right. So that's like just a piece of whitewood or something from your large home store.
But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this is 7-layered half-inch birch ply, and it cut it really, really clean in one pass. So I would definitely recommend this over any of the other lasers for cutting, or like, not to like rag on anybody, but like if you're going to buy an X tool and you have Onefinity, don't buy an X tool, just buy that, and you get a way bigger bed too. So
Well, and you could also, if you got time, if you wait until next year, it'll be an 88 watt because he just keeps every year he just glues another one onto the thing.
dude, I honestly don't know like what he'll have next. I didn't think last year when he came out with the 24 watt, he was like, "There's not going to be a 40 watt." He's like, "I just can't do it," and then he did it. So I don't know.
But yeah, I mean that power, that's better than some CO2 lasers.
Yeah, I mean CO2 lasers start around 30 watts, so that's more than that, and it is measuring the actual output, so it's a true 44 watt laser.
So okay, so I know you're the CNC, not the laser guy, but what is the difference between, because that's a diode laser?
Hmm.
What's the difference between like a diode laser and a CO2 laser? Like where would somebody want one or the other?
So, I mean, with this one, it kind of takes CO2 lasers down a notch, other than clear acrylic. You can't cut clear acrylic with a diode laser because of the wavelength. Um, so that's the one thing with this one really. Other than that, um, once you start getting up to like this 44 watt, there's not really a ton of difference. I mean, they are a different type of laser beam. The CO2 laser has obviously got a tube, and it's water cooled. This is just air cooled. It's a lot smaller. It's a lot more compact. Um, but those are the big things. I mean, obviously, a CO2 laser, you're going to have a big old case around it, and it's going to be a standalone kind of thing. So diodes are usually a lot smaller, a lot more portable, stuff like that.
Mark had a question. He asked, "Does it have a light shield?"
Yeah. So this orange acrylic on the front is actually something that JTech developed specifically for blue diode lasers, and it blocks the wavelength so it won't hurt your eyes. It's the same stuff they make the safety glasses out of.
Yeah, because when it comes to lasers, everybody, boys and girls, if you can see blue, it's bad. Don't stare at it.
Yeah, don't do that.
If sorry, lost my train of thought here for just a second. Give me a second, boys. I'll be right back with you.
Mitchell's Woodwork says he's just going to hold out for like 1 or 2 more years, and at the rate he's going, JTech's just going to have a straight up lightsaber. Big Bear, what about small farmland animals? What about them?
What about them?
Yeah, I can't think of a single joke or comment we've made that has anything to do with small farmland animals.
1116 Woodworks asked if you could etch acrylic with a diode. You can etch it, but you have to use like a black Sharpie on top of it first. We were talking about this last night on our live. The clear acrylic will just bounce the beam back because it's reflective. It won't absorb that beam. So putting a black marker or something, black paint on there, will force it to absorb that light, and it'll etch the top of it, but it won't cut it.
So with diode, you can etch it, but you can't sketch it.
Yeah. And Myers Woodshop added a very good disclaimer. If you are cutting what you think is acrylic and it puts off yellow smoke, it is not acrylic, and you should stop cutting it because it's actually making the chemical equivalent of mustard gas, and it will kill you. So, fun tip for the night. You learned something there.
Man, you guys never let me have any fun. I thought it was just lemon cotton candy coming out of there. No, I'm sorry, guys. It took me a second to reorganize my thoughts. In the coming weeks, are you guys going to be putting out videos or content about various substrates and what will and won't be working, either on Instagram or on the website? Or
So JTech has already kind of done that. He posted his cut test video with a bunch of different materials on YouTube. But I'm sure we'll be doing some stuff, just kind of showing off what the laser can do. Uh, and I had some people ask some specific materials to test out, so I'm going to do that. I know I've got some black acrylic, some half-inch acrylic, lots of plywood, leather. Um, we'll try the paint or Sharpie on some glass or some acrylic and etch that. Just kind of see how everything turns out. Maybe make a couple reels on that or something like that. Some YouTube videos.
Do you think the comment about small farmland animals was in regard to definitely not freehand lasering things?
It was.
How does that correlate though?
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to brand their sheep with a 40-watt handheld laser with some CA glue. Is that what we're working on?
I think it was a follow up to. Oh, it was a follow up to Paul's question. Can you etch acrylic with diode? And then follow up. What about small farm? Can you etch small farmyard animals?
I mean, I guess you could. I don't know.
That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut joke.
Sorry,
I've never stuck my hand in it, so I don't know what happens. I don't really want to find out.
Have you tried etching a hot dog or like a piece of bologna? Like if you
Not with
really.
No, but I might have to. I did.
Yeah.
I've done a pumpkin pie. I tried sweet potato pie. It does not laser as well as pumpkin.
I think we're looking at your next big, like your year's worth of content. Will it laser?
Lasering food.
Onefinity, home of the hobbyist CNC. Will it laser?
See, I don't know. I feel like it would be more fun to like actually CNC a food, but that would get really messy really fast, and I don't want to clean it up.
Look, I know that there are, chocolate 3D printers out there in this world. And all I'm saying is that subtractive manufacturing, yourself.
I feel like maybe if you got the feeds and speeds right, you might be able to do some chocolate.
Yeah. I feel like that's a one-way ticket to a really angry router.
I carved a pumpkin last year on Halloween.
I like Myers Woodshop's. He qualifies it if a diode laser can do leather. If so, it can also do small farmyard animals.
That's a very good point, and it can. I know it can engrave on leather. I'm sure it could probably cut it with the 44. Yeah, so I guess farm animals are in.
Can we get another banner down there, Braden?
Yeah.
Sawdust Stock and Onefinity neither encourage nor condone the active use of freehand laser sketching on animals. We love it.
Airweights made a good point. They said cold chocolate. You can CNC frozen rubber, which is very true. I know last year at Workbench Con, Hamilton and the guys from Carveco had a contest to make a rubber stamp with the CNC, and I was very confused at first, but Hamilton froze all of the rubber pieces before, and it worked. So, freeze your chocolate.
All right. So before we get into Tuesday, because we're still stuck on Monday, I just want to throw that out there. And we're talking about releases. Is there any discussion in the Onefinity universe about fixturing, plates, ideas, vices, maybe getting into the reverse air hockey table, he said with his funny gesture? Tabletop
vacuum tables?
Are you leaving that to other manufacturers to do a really good job so you can stay focused on your own stuff?
That's not something that we are doing, but I will give a plug to Airweights. Jace, who's one of their founders, just sent me a system, and I just got it yesterday, the day before. I haven't set it up yet, but he actually uses a Onefinity to make all of them, so it's really cool. And it's somebody that's in the community, so that'd be my recommendation. I haven't used it yet, but everybody that I've seen has loved it so far. So, but yeah, that's not something that we're doing just because we got other stuff on our mind.
Very cool. Okay, so tell us about Tuesday.
Yes. So Tuesday, um, so this is the normal brake or the normal motor that comes on the Z axis. Let me wait. I'm going to be the Z axis. Y'all like that?
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Fancy. But this is the normal Z-axis motor that comes on the machine. But we announced yesterday for people who have 80 millimeter spindles because they are much heavier, and the Z20 has a higher ball screw pitch. Instead of 10, it's 16, so it's a higher pitch. And when you turn the machine off, this was dropping. So we came out with a motor brake that's integrated. All you got to do is take off 4 bolts, pull the motor off, um, unplug the wires, and then loosen 2 more bolts on the coupler, and it's that easy. So it's quick plug and play solution for that motor drop. So that was yesterday's. I know it's not the most exciting thing, but it's a huge thing for the people that have 80 millimeter spindles, especially, and it makes it a lot safer because whenever you e-stop, if your bit is still spinning and you e-stop and it just drops, it's going to cut a hole in your material or whatever you're carving or your table, or if you're not careful, you. So it's a big thing for safety, and it's just a nice thing so it keeps people from breaking bits.
Listen, nobody thinks that brakes in cars are that exciting either until you need them. So
That's very true. Yeah, I haven't broken any bits from it dropping, but I know some people have, and it hurts losing, $40-$50 every time that happens. So
all right. So that brings us to today.
yes,
What was today's announcement?
today was a Ginny bit pack. Um, if you are not familiar with Ginny bits, a guy named Cody runs a company called Cadence Manufacturing, and he was in the uh, defense industry. I want to believe he's a machinist. He worked in a big shop with a bunch of guys, and he was doing hobby CNC stuff. And he decided he wanted to make some tools that were specific to hobby CNCs that were designed to be used on Onefinity type of machines, instead of the big $20,000-$30,000 machines. And his bits are they're awesome. They work. They're affordable. They hold up. There you go. Braden's got one. But we just released. I actually only have 5 of the 6 bits here. I don't have the little 1/8 inch down cut, but we've got. Let's see. I'll just go through the Ginny bit, which is a 1/4 inch compression bit. Kind of hold these up for you guys to see. 1/4 inch compression bit. So what's special about this, unlike other compression bits, it's only got an 1/8 of an inch of an upcut before it switches to a downcut. Most of them, it's like, I want to say like 1/3 of an inch or something like that. So you don't have to cut as far before it actually starts acting as a compression bit, which is really cool because we're not always cutting through 2 or 3 inch stuff. It's 3/4 or whatever. So there's the Ginny bit, which is the bit that started it all. Let's see. This is the Downtown Ginny, which is a 1/4 inch downcut bit. It's just a downcut bit, but like I said, Cody does a great job making all his bits. I love this thing. I use it all the time. We've got
that 1/4 inch downtown is the one that like lives in my CNC.
Yeah.
I cut a lot of plywood, and this is so much less like, what's the word? Screamy. Like it doesn't scream like I'm butchering it, which is really pleasant on the ears. It just seems like it cuts smoother.
And then the next one, which is the 1/8 inch version of the downcut bit, the 1/8 inch Downtown Ginny. It's the same exact bit, it's just smaller. And then if you don't have an 1/8 inch collet, or you just don't want to change it, then we've got the Slim Gin, which is the exact same 1/8 inch down cut. It's got a little bit longer flute length. But that's just another 1/8 inch down cut with a 1/4 inch shank. So you don't have to change your collet out. That is my favorite bit for cutting things out. It's my go-to. Anything 3/4 or less, that's what I cut it with, guaranteed, every time. And then this is the Skinny Jenny, which is a 16th inch tapered ball nose.
Ah.
And this one is my favorite for 3D finishing passes. So if you're doing a 3D carve using a ball nose, I usually use like a 1/4 inch end mill for the roughing, and then go back with that. Just let her rip. My favorite thing about these bits is, like Braden said, they're so quiet. When I'm running like a 3D finishing pass, you're not taking off a ton of material, but like air cooled spindle and this, and you like don't even hear it running in the other room. And then the last one, which I don't have, is the
big flapper. It's just a spatula that you just.
The mini Genie, just the 1/8 inch compression bit.
So that's 1/8 inch all the way down for a smaller
Yeah,
collet.
It's just like the first one I showed you, just in an 1/8 inch version. So just a smaller collet, smaller shaft.
Big Bear, I feel inclined to throw up just one more disclaimer just for you. He says, can you recommend a decent bit for farmland animals? So just to throw up, farmyard animal CNCing is not officially supported by Onefinity or Sawdust Talk.
I think that's a different kind of bit. That one, the one that goes in their mouth.
Yeah. Well, I see what you did there. Bit comes with a bridle. Proud of you.
Yeah, that one.
Proud of you,
I'm from
buddy.
Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Okay, so do we get a sneaky peeky reveal?
Yeah,
for Thursday, or do the cool kids in the audience have to wait?
You have to wait. I'm sorry. I like my job. I don't want to lose it.
I wouldn't either. It sounds like you've got it going on, man.
Yeah, man. No, it's sitting right behind the camera, but you can't see it.
A Onefinity couch.
No, not that. It was on the floor in front of that couch.
Onefinity officially branded single left socks of stones.
There aren't even any socks in this room, man. You're just starting to make stuff up now.
I figure if I come up with something, if I come up with something ridiculous, at some point you're gonna be like, no, it's definitely not that. It's this, and then we'll get it. We'll get the news.
Nah.
It's a Onefinity blender.
It's not that easy.
No, it's a Onefinity belt-driven margarita machine, because nothing says shop safety like belt-driven CNC alcohol.
That would be absolutely ridiculous, considering we don't use belts.
Well, you just
a ball screw-driven margarita mixer, maybe.
There you go. But no, you put a belt on the spindle and it drives your blender.
What you could do is you could actually
I'm gonna leave that one to you.
You could mount it on the top and then mount the blender off to the side. So as it's traveling along the Y, it's doing like this.
You try that out. Let me know how it goes.
All right. All right.
Sawdust Talk neither encourages nor condones the use of heavy equipment or electricity. Boy, a lot of disclaimers on this episode.
Or doing any of those things while consuming alcohol.
That's what we were getting, yes.
Yeah.
But a nice Dr. Pepper, that's okay.
A nice Dr. Pepper always hits the spot.
All right, everybody that's watching in the chat live, I want you guys just to start throwing up all of the most ridiculous things that you guys can think of that might be announced tomorrow. Somebody's going to get it. We're going to figure it out. But while we're doing that, all right, so Stone, you guys
CNC Onefinity tattoo needles.
Just put your arm under?
Yeah, it's like in, what is that, Idiocracy? Just stick your arm into the machine, right?
All right, so
I was gonna say yesterday I was cutting out some stuff, and the corner started to lift up, and I started to like push my finger down in there because I had some. it was blue tape and Siegel. It was just cutting something out real quick, and I started to push my finger down to make it stick down. I was like, maybe not.
Yeah, don't do that. That's the danger end of that machine.
Yeah,
That's the spicy side.
spicy side.
All right. So you guys you're very involved in the community, which is one of the things that we like about you most. To quote Letterkenny, it's the things that we appreciate about you. You guys were at Workbench Con. You were at Maker Camp. Was that y'all's first time at Maker Camp?
Yeah, me and Morgan both. That was our first time. We'd never been. I didn't even know it existed until like last year when it was happening and people were posting about it. So,
what was your experience? Because it was different.
it was awesome. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I love Workbench Con, but like, it's just a totally different experience. It's a lot less structured. So, I mean, there is structure in like a schedule if you're taking classes, I guess. But for me, it was a lot less structured because I didn't have like I have to be at the booth all day every day during the schedule. Like we had time to like go around and do other stuff and go to the other tents and check out what's going on. But like also the rain kind of changed everything. So like was that Friday or that was Saturday?
It was Saturday.
Um, when it rained all day, we just like sat around and talked to everybody and hung out all day. Everybody was out there and like it sucked that it rained, but everybody was still just having a good time hanging out. So it was just really fun to be around everybody. And I think that's the biggest thing about all these events. Just getting to hang out with everybody, catch up with your friends and meet new people and talk about whatever you're doing in the shop or whatever's going on. Like, I don't know. There's so many people that I've met from Workbench Con and Maker Camp. Like we talk every day. We keep up with each other's lives. There's just something about the community that's really cool. But yeah, from like a brand standpoint, it's kind of weird because everybody's walking up and just talking to you and asking questions or like it's really weird when people walk up and they're like, I recognize you from YouTube because I'm nobody, like I just make videos and I sound boring in all of my videos on top of that. Like they're instructional stuff. So it's not fun. But it's always really humbling when people are like, you did a great job or I really, really like the videos or whatever. So that stuff's really cool. But also it's really humbling because I'm representing a brand and they trust me as a 25-year-old kid to go do that. So I'm really lucky to be where I'm at, and I'm thankful for all of it. Like this community's been huge. So yeah, that's how I feel about those things. I love these guys. I love you guys. I love this community. Like it's an awesome thing. Glad to be a part of it.
I'm mostly shocked that they still trust you to like go out and represent the brand after karaoke.
Hey, I did a great job. I thought I did a great job.
Morgan
got the video of me playing the fake fiddle, and that was a hit at the office.
Devil Went Down to Georgia. It's a crowd favorite.
I didn't pick it. Katrina did. She was like, last minute, will you sing this with me? And I said yes, not thinking about it. And then when it came time to sing, I wasn't ready. But we did it. It was fun. I think they said something about maybe doing karaoke at Workbench Con this year too. So I'm sure that'll get crazy.
That'll be good.
Braden, do you have a karaoke song about which you are most proud?
He sang karaoke a couple times, I want to say, that night.
I am 100% enthusiasm and 0% talent when it comes to karaoke, which is great for me. Like I have a blast. It's not great for everybody around me.
But, no, you did awesome. You were great.
Look, man, fun is fun. Colton
from Colt Crit doing Red Hot Chili Peppers right after me. I was like, you know what? I felt pretty good about mine. And now, you know what? I'm going to slink on back here. He killed it.
His energy was insane. Like that could have been a live concert in front of 20,000 people. I couldn't tell.
Oh yeah. And then we had Barnett from Barnett Builds, he has friggin' pipes, like
Mm-hmm.
technically accurate pipes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, karaoke was fun, and Maker Camp was a lot of fun. Minus the biblical flooding, but
It was insane. There was a literal river under the table. We had our CNC set up, and there was a river that had been cut by the water going right under it.
I still think it's crazy that you guys were at the top of the hill and you were the first one shut down because of all the water.
Mm-hmm. There's water everywhere. We also had like a tent full of dozens of people using power tools. So that was kind of the biggest thing. Like we were the power carving tent. So everybody that was there had power tools. So it's kind of a safety thing.
Everything was electricity.
Everything. Except for the axe guys. They were doing their hand carving. So they were like laughing at us once we had the electricity pulled.
I have a like 80% cleaned up axe head, and that's as far as I got in that project before I realized that it was like it's like an all day thing to get that project done. And I was like, I can't not sit and chit chat with people for 8 hours and focus on one project.
You could clean the head up and then you can cut a handle on your CNC.
I plan on doing that. I had Pete mail it to me afterwards because carrying
fly with an axe head. Yeah,
you can't fly with like a rusty, like found it in the woods axe. Like people get antsy.
It makes sense.
But I tried hanging it like just from a necklace and just saying it was like a jewelry piece, and they weren't buying it. So
you weren't just like Flavor Flav and
yeah.
It's
Axie
funny you
axe.
say that because at Maker Camp, Morgan carved out of a little walnut cookie. He made a Flava Flav clock that Luke wore as a necklace.
You guys were also carving out stool samples.
Yeah, we miniature stool samples.
That's good
Morgan
for
Morgan
miniature
has like
stool sitters, right?
Morgan has like a flat pack stool that you can cut out of a 3/4 piece of plywood. And we were given a piece of 1/4-inch ply, and we're like, we'll just make it 3 times smaller so it fits. So they were miniature stools, and Morgan just had the bright idea to call them stool samples. So
makes sense to me.
it makes people's day when you're like, would you like a stool sample? And you just hand them a mini stool, because it's not what they're expecting to feel.
Kamani says he heard the word karaoke and had to join. He was compelled to join the chat. Oh man, we're getting tons of great ideas for what could be coming out Thursday. Let's see. 3D printer attachment, tattoo removal attachment. Let's see.
I just got a text, and my boss said I can give y'all a teaser. But I have to turn the lights off.
Oh God.
Don't worry, it's nothing like that kind of teaser. Give me a second here.
The suspense is killing me.
Yeah, seriously.
Sorry, guys. Wait, let me turn off my lights now.
Hold on, he's got to put on his back brace because it weighs 212 pounds. This is going to be awesome.
It's not that big.
All I hear is zippers, zipping and unzipping. What is going on?
Oh, y'all can see really well still. This is so bright. This may not work.
Too late. You're already down the rabbit hole. Give us what we want. Give us what we want. It's a glow-in-the-dark paint covering for your Onefinity.
No, wait. I've lost it in the dark here. Oh, my gosh. I was given instructions, and I have to follow these. Because, like I said, I like my job.
No, we like you, and we want you to keep your gainful employment.
Okay. Here we go.
I'm on the fence. I might be willing to cash that in to get the teaser 12 hours early.
All right, let me turn this around now.
I feel like we're
there's
Sawdust
so many camera options here.
This is the Blair Sawdust Talk project going on.
I was gonna say Cloverfield.
Mhm.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Here you go. Wait, I gotta. Oh, here we go. You ready?
Oh, it's a
Here we
Masso
go.
controller.
No, it's a Roomba. Sweet.
All right, that's all you get. Did y'all
It's
see
a
it? One more time.
Onefinity.
One more time.
Oh boy.
If I can find it. I don't know where my hand is in here.
Ooh.
What am I looking?
Turn on the
Oh,
light.
there
You'll
it
be able to
is.
see your hand better. Something with a green light.
Okay. Now that I'm in the dark, turn on some lights. This is kind of weird now. I've been in the dark for a while here. There we go. Anyways,
Look at that. You were depriving us of mustache and obscuring our vision.
you want an even better view of mustache. So these went on sale yesterday. This is
Dude.
the Morgan Hop.
So you've got a Team Morgan Hop shirt and you've got a Team Stone shirt.
Yeah.
And those are available on the Onefinity site?
Yes, they are for sale on the Onefinity site. There was a joke. This isn't true, but there was a joke made today in the office that whoever sells the most shirts with their face on it gets a Christmas bonus.
If that Christmas bonus is one of those 5-gallon buckets of Reese's peanut butter cups from Costco,
Dude,
which I think
that would be worth it.
See, that's what I'm saying, man.
Who doesn't like peanut butter cups? I mean, besides the people with peanut allergies,
Yeah.
you know.
And at that point, is it even worth it? Is it even worth being alive?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I put mine in the freezer, and I haven't been able to go back.
I hear if you put them in the freezer, it counteracts the allergic properties, and so you can eat them.
Y'all, I just got the funniest Instagram message I've ever received from Big Bear. I can't say it out loud, but you just have to believe me.
Well, and that's what Sawdust Talk After Dark is for there.
Exactly.
Wonderful. So the time is now 10:02. We've got about, I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes before our hour-long show is up. Is there anything that you want to tell us about or wanted to talk about on this episode that we have not covered?
I mean, I don't think so. Braden just asked if I wanted to come on and hang out. And this actually, it wasn't like a planned thing that this was going to be launch week. It just kind of worked out that way. And he texted me the other day and was like, "You ready?" And I said, "Hey, by the way." So it's just kind of worked out. So I'm thankful that y'all guys let me come on here and, you know, just show you what we got going on this week. So
it worked. It was fated to work out because when I checked our schedule of guests, I forgot that the 29th of November was a date. And so I had the date of December 6th for you, but I had you slotted for this week.
Ah, that makes sense.
So technically you're also booked next week. So anything you missed tonight, we're going to cover next week.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know.
Right. Did we have any relevant and useful questions in any of our other chats?
I don't know. That's what I'm looking back at right now.
Yeah,
I think
relevant
that's
and
two
useful
very
being the
different
keywords
things.
in those sentences.
We do have somebody that said blink once if tomorrow's announcement is metal related, blink twice if it's wood related.
What if it's both?
Blink
Cross
a
your
lot.
eyes. Cross your eyes if it's both. There you go.
We have a guess of a 3D scanner attachment.
Nope.
It's a Morse code writer for G code. Oh, that's from the official Onefinity account, so that's got to be it. They wouldn't lie to us.
They might.
Yeah, I got nothing.
It allows it to talk to the 5G antennas while not requiring the users to wear a tinfoil hat. Is that what this is about?
Oh man.
Is this what they meant by activating the 5G in our COVID vaccines? It's happening now?
Maybe.
It was a long play by Onefinity.
It's the Onefinity CNC toothbrush attachment.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, is it like you guys are repurposing old Wii, like the Xbox Kinect cameras, so that you can hand control your CNC?
Your body movement controls it.
Yeah, this just dives it straight into the spoil board. I'm glad that this is an audio only episode in some places.
I don't know. I think that move is precisely what this show needed this evening. Okay, so now the time is 10:06, and normally as we near the end of our hour, as I'm sure you may or may not have seen, I like to ask our guests to provide maybe a motivational thought or a final musing or something to convince the boys and girls in the audience to get out into their shops and make a mess and turn on their tools or pick up a chisel and get awesome. Is there anything that you would like to share to the boys and girls and Pats that are listening this evening?
I would just say don't ever think that you can't do it, because when I started working for this company 3.5 years ago, I'd never touched a CNC in my life, and now I am considered a quote unquote expert on this machine, which is viewed by a lot of people as like one of the best hobby CNCs in the world. So don't ever think that just because you don't have experience with something or don't have a background in something that you can't pick it up and learn it and be really good at it, just like anybody that's been doing it for a long time. That and drink lots of Dr. Pepper.
Just to clarify for everybody, when he says if you think you can do it, try it, when he insinuates that, he still does not mean freehand lasering with your
freehand
44
lasering.
watt.
But I mean, it's just take the time and really make the effort, and it'll pay off. Don't try to take shortcuts, because it ends up being the long way. And yeah, have fun doing it. Don't take it so seriously that it's not fun, because then there's no point doing it. And don't do it by yourself. Everything's more fun with friends.
Man, those are awesome.
Don't give me that look.
I'm just trying to decide what direction do we take that one down. But
we take it in the direction of that's dang fine advice. 2 heads is better than 1, and teaching somebody else what you're learning on the fly is a great way to reinforce your experiments.
Mm-hmm. And if neither one of you knows what you're doing, even like 2 heads to think about what the problem is you're trying to figure out, and there's more than one way to find a solution to something. There's always more than one way. Well, I said sometimes there's not, but most of the time there's more than one way. You don't always have to be right either. So
I disagree with that one, but everything else was great advice.
Yeah.
Well, it's
all
easier.
right.
Even if you think you're right, sometimes you just got to pretend that you're not and make people happy. That's customer support for you. Love you.
All right.
All of our customers. That wasn't a dig at you. Anyways.
Stone, thank you so much for coming on. It was awesome talking to you about Onefinity, about Maker Camp, about just hanging out. It's always fun to hang out with you. And
thanks for having me.
Just doing it at Maker Camp and Workbench Con is not enough. So selfishly, I'm glad to have a little bit more time with you. So
I appreciate it. I'm glad that y'all had me on here. This was awesome. I had a blast.
Everybody listening, we want to thank our sponsors again, Surf Prep. We want to thank George Supply Co. We could probably do what we do without them, but it'd be a lot less fun. So we appreciate them and their involvement in the community. Also, want to make sure that everybody knows this is the final week to get involved with the Maker Project going on over at Makers for St. Jude. So we have crossed the $10,000 mark for raising money for St. Jude's for this year. So we have 2 days to get to 20,000. So we should probably hurry up. But awesome job, everybody. Make sure you get involved for the last couple days. And then past that, I mean, it's not just a once a month thing. If you want to listen to this episode or any of our old episodes, you can find them on YouTube. All of the other, I forget all of them. The second TJ starts throwing up fingers, I'm like, I don't know
Apple?
how many there are. Apple, Google,
Spotify?
Spotify, Radio Public, PBS. Nope, that's not right.
iHeartRadio?
What's that?
iHeartRadio? Is it on there?
Yeah.
We are on iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I think that covers all of them. YouTube?
You said you
And In Your Hearts, In Your Heart podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
But you can find episodes on just about every app that you want to use. So that's it. That's all I got. So
can I do a quick plug?
Yes.
Tomorrow, just a reminder, 8 p.m. Eastern time, me and Morgan are going to go live again tomorrow. And we're going to cover what we released today. Again, just a quick recap of the bits from the Onefinity account, just so our followers can see that too. And we will also be showing off what we will be releasing 10 hours or 12 hours from now. So, yeah.
which is
Not
I
even,
forgot.
no,
You s-
11 hours from now.
and you said what that thing was earlier, but I just for the people that weren't here, could you remind us what it was that's being released tomorrow?
Sorry, buddy. Not that easy. You gotta be better than that.
I'm not. I guess I'm just gonna have to wait like everybody else. So, all right, everybody.
worth it.
Well,
It's a good one.
thank you so much for joining us. We will see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Bye.
See you guys.